Hello again and welcome. This is Workshop Wednesday. So, the last couple of months, I've been working on creating educational content around my business to help educate the market, not only what I do, but what mapping technology is and what reality capture is. So, today, I want to talk about BIM and GIS. Without further ado, I'll get right into it. Starting off with what is BIM? BIM stands for Building Information Modeling. All right, so that kind of sounds a little vague. What does that exactly mean? What does that necessarily mean? Basically, the simplest way I can think about explaining it, BIM is a model plus a spreadsheet. Basically, you have a 3D model, right? And what BIM is, it's attaching information to every component of that model. So whether it's a wall or a door frame, or this is less common, but let's say there'd be furniture items or things within the model, all of that information is or can be tracked through a spreadsheet. If you're assembling one of these buildings and you're using this 3D model, it's likely that all the components, every door, every unit within this building has a SKU number, right? It has some sort of serial number, some sort of identification number, a cost code, and all that information can be assigned to the model through BIM, right? So that is BIM in a nutshell. You can also get into like 4D BIM when you start tracking the schedule component. And then 5D BIM is when you're working with budgets, right? So again, think of a spreadsheet. In this spreadsheet, every component in a model is attached to a serial number, a SKU, and that attaches to a cost, right? A price in a price book or a sequence in a schedule. So that's BIM. And then 4D is when you introduce a schedule. 5D is when you introduce the cost or the price. All right. So BIM in a nutshell. Now, moving on to GIS. What is GIS? So GIS stands for Geographic Information System. So the easiest way to think about this is it's really just a map making software. But again, similar to BIM, and why it's worth talking about in the same conversation is BIM is model plus spreadsheet. GIS is map plus spreadsheet. So you can kind of think on a practical level, we're kind of going up in scale, right? From model to map, we're going from the individual building scale to now we're talking multiple buildings, multiple parcels, geographic features. And again, it's similar to the BIM idea. GIS takes that information of parcels, could be vegetation, really any kind of information that you would express onto a map. There's going to be a spreadsheet behind that, right? So another good example of this would be governments. This is how they track tax data. Every parcel is associated with a taxpayer ID number, et cetera, et cetera. So again, GIS, it's really just a software, but it's a software that combines the elements of a map with the data of a spreadsheet. So what's the point? Why is this relevant? Who cares? Well, everything is getting digitized. Everything is going into this digital twin reality. This is where my business steps in, because I provide data. You can think of this as like ground truth data to verify, back up, help build or flesh out these BIM and GIS models, right? So what does that mean? What does that look like? In the example of BIM modeling, right? So you have a building, depending on when it was built and how good the documentation process was of the construction project, you might have some blueprints or some as-builts, but likely it's not what was actually built. And so that's where a laser scanner comes in and can be very useful. Is that a laser scanner will get a very precise and potentially very accurate 3D point cloud of the space that you can then generate a very accurate and precise 3D model. And from that 3D model, you can plug in all the information that may be associated with the model. And that's how you get to BIM. Really, what my business is we are a services company that helps plug real world data into these different systems, right? Whether it's modeling or geographic information, we take the real world data, we capture it using reality capture technology like laser scanners and drones. And then we help our customers plug it into their BIM and GIS systems. So just to recap that, again, my name is Josh Arneson. My company is ARNE.Technology. I specialize in laser scanning and drones. I help companies adopt this technology and scale their reality capture and mapping technology programs. So whether it's an individual with a scanner or a drone, I kind of help grow those teams, grow those capabilities so that they can scale data acquisition needs for different BIM and GIS type projects.